Hello, welcome to Yellow Door Urban Homestead. I am Asia and I'm an urban gardener growing in a small space in my backyard. Tonight I wanted to come and talk about why I grow in bags. So, of course, clearly, one reason why I grow in bags is because I have a small space and I want to maximize the amount of space that I can grow in. So bags and pots, buckets, all pretty good things to grow in. So if you are an urban gardener, backyard gardener, back porch gardener, balcony grower, front porch grower, these grow bags are awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you what I like about growing in the bags and also how I grow in the bags. But before I tell you that, I want to thank Sean. I think last name was Thomas. I lost the paper, your thank you note. But I thank you very much for these shorts. I absolutely love them. They are super comfortable. They kind of move with my body. I absolutely love them. I think they're like biker shorts, but I really wanted them. They were on my wish list and you purchased them for me and I got them last week. I was out of town and it's just been busy since I got back. But I wanted to say thank you in person, on camera, for these shorts. They're 4 in a pack, and I love them all. These plants that are encompassing me, that are closing me into my walkway, these plants are being grown in bags. These are peppers. And so why do I like the bags? I love the fact that the bags have handles. I can easily pick these bags up when my son is coming out of the shed and won't move my bags, breaks my plants because he won't just move the pot. I can easily come out here and pick these pots up with the handles and move the bags. The other reason why I like the bags is because they are lightweight. So I can put all of this soil into the bags, and don't get me wrong, they're still gonna have some weight to them, but they are much easier to move and to me feels much lighter with the handles. Also love these bags because they're breathable all the way around. And so I'm not against growing in pots. I have pots in my yard. I'm growing mint and other herbs in the pots, but they're breathable. So the roots of the plants are gonna breathe. The roots of the plants are also gonna air prune. So when you see a plant where the bottom is wrapping around, that is how you get root bound plants. When they're in bags, they air prune, which means once they hit the end of the bag, the root stops and it starts to grow somewhere else, as opposed to just going around and around in a circle in the bags. I've pulled plants out and noticed that it is a big root ball, but it's not a root bound ball, if that makes sense. So that is why I like growing in pots. They maximize my space. They are breathable to avoid root bound plants. They are lightweight. They have handles on them. Oh, and the other thing that I really like is that they have drainage. And so, okay, drainage also means that your bags can dry out faster. And we're gonna talk about that. But it does help you from overwatering your plants. So if you are a new gardener, like growing in bags is a good way to ensure that you probably, maybe most of the time, won't overwater your plants. So let's talk about what I grow in these pots. I grow all of my peppers in pots. These are also peppers. I don't even know how many pepper plants that I have, but I grow all of my pepper plants in pots, mostly because peppers will grow all the way up until your first frost. And so I want to get all the peppers that I can out of my garden in a year. And so I put all my peppers in a bag. That way, when it is time for me to replant the beds, I don't have to rip out plants. Unlike my tomatoes, let me show you, that are all looking like that. I'm gonna take off those yellow leaves this weekend. Try to stake those tomatoes a little bit better. But I also grow tomatoes in these bags. And so I grow indeterminate and determinate tomatoes in the bags. And of course, like I just said, I'm gonna have to try to restake them, but we're getting close to the end of the season. And so it really doesn't matter that they're kind of dying off or falling over, because pretty soon it's gonna be time to rip them out anyway. The other things that I grow in bags are potatoes. I grow most of my potatoes in bags. I tried this year to plant my potatoes in a no-dig bed and the mice ate them. So I can't say that I'm not good at growing potatoes in a no-dig bed because I didn't get a chance to see if I was good at growing potatoes in a no-dig bed. I also have grown my potatoes in my raised bed, but my go-to at this point is to grow potatoes in bags. It saves space in your garden beds. The other thing that I am going to try to grow in bags this year is carrots, and I've seen lots of people grow carrots in bags and in pots, and so I'm going to give that a try. The other thing that you can grow in a bag, which you can grow a lot of stuff in bags. You can grow strawberries in bags. Anything that you can grow in pots, you can grow in bags. You can grow cucumbers, zucchini, squash. As long as you are either going to be able to trellis them or they have somewhere to run, you can grow in bags. Predominantly, I do my tomatoes, I do my peppers, and I do my potatoes in bags. So the next thing I want to talk about is what I put in my bags. I personally, this year, put soil, compost, and perlite into my bags. And so when you are planting in bags, you do want to make sure that you start out with pretty good soil. I did equal parts soil and I did equal parts compost and 1 part perlite. So what that means, I found a container, it was a bucket, and I put the same amount of soil and the same amount of compost into my soil mix. So for instance, I did 3 buckets of soil and I did 3 buckets of compost, and then I did 1 bucket of perlite. And so that's where I got my equal part soil and compost to 1 part perlite. So what you want to make sure is that your soil does not compact. That's what happened to me my 2nd year gardening before I was using bags. So it was my first time using bags, and I just threw, I think, all black cow in the bag. And I've seen people do it before, but for me, in my area, in my backyard, it compacted so bad. To the point of, like, when I was trying to dig down into the bag to see if the soil was moist, I couldn't even get my finger down into it. And it dried out really fast. And so black cow is a cow manure compost. Again, I've seen people do it. Hollis and Nancy, they have a channel on YouTube. That's what they use, and they have great luck with it, great success with it. It did not work for me. So when you are filling your bag, just remember, kind of think about where you live, what your air is like, what your moisture levels are like, or just try it. You know, literally just try it out, because you always have next year. I think that's why my peppers were small last year. I had a lot of small peppers. They dried out and drooped a lot last year. I am not having that problem this year. Thank God. I am finally, my peppers are starting to turn colors, and I'm starting to finally harvest peppers, and I'm excited about that. The other thing that you could do to fill your bags is to put leaves or some kind of organic matter into the bottom of your bag. And that will help you to save on the price of bag soil. You can also make your own compost. That is what I do, and that is what I'm going to do this year to top these bags off. The soil that's in these bags will not be coming out and going into the compost pile, because I had quite a time filling up 60 bags with soil this year to get ready for planting, and I don't feel like I'm gonna do that this year. This year I'm gonna leave the soil. Once I pull the plant, I am going to refresh it with some organic, some granulated organic fertilizer, and I'm going to top it off with some compost and mix it into like the first few inches of soil. And these bags are gonna stay here or somewhere out here all the way through winter, and I'm going to allow them to just kind of overwinter outside. I will not be emptying these bags this year. And I may even, depending on what dies, like those tomatoes are going to be done in a little while, I may even try to do some short season fall vegetables in bags, because you can do that too. You can grow cabbage, you can grow broccoli, you can grow all kinds of things in bags. So I've sang the praises of grow bags and all the wonderful things that they're good for. And I know you're thinking, Asia, I know there is some kind of something that you don't like about these bags. And you would be right. But I don't dislike it enough not to grow in them. And I don't dislike it enough not to have 60. I have 60 bags back here of things that I grow in. Okay, let's talk about the things I don't like. They do dry out fast. And so you do have to keep an eye on your grow bags. Luckily for me, I'm growing mostly peppers in these bags and tomatoes. Both of those plants are okay to dry out a bit. You don't want them to stay dry for, days on end, but they're okay to dry out a bit. And so when these start to dry out, you can tell because the leaves start to sag. And that is my cue if I am not paying attention to my garden, which I normally am paying attention to my garden, to come out here and water my bags. They do dry out quickly, which also means that you may have to water them 2 or 3 times in one watering. What I mean is, if soil is dry, water goes straight through the soil. So you have to water it once so that the soil moistens a bit. And so that the water won't continue to go all the way through the soil, through the bottom of the bag. And so then you water it again and maybe go water something else or go do something else. Come back, stick your finger down into the soil, see if it is still dry. If it is, then you just water it again in order to get a deep watering that fills the soil in the bags. But for me, I'm gonna be honest, that is literally the only thing that I dislike about the bags. And so let's talk about care of the bags. I was watching Broke Farmer Live and they had started talking about their grow bags. I personally don't wash my bags. I don't. But if you do, tell us in the comments that that you do wash your bags, why you wash your bags, how you've seen that it made a difference in your plants, because I am not by any means the authority on growing in bags, just telling you my experience with growing in bags. So I don't wash my bags. I don't take them in the house. I do not wash them. They are washable. I saw someone say that the salt can build up on the bags, and that may be true. If it does, I just haven't noticed it, and it has not changed the way that my plants grow. And so I'm not gonna do extra things in something that's already a lot of work, if that makes sense. So I don't wash my bags. I actually have left soil in the bags over the winter, and then I just dump it in the compost pile. I refresh it the next season. I'm not doing that this year, and I will let you all know how that goes. So aside from washing the bags, which I do not do, I don't see that there's any other care steps for the bags. I have had these bags since last year, so I've grown in them at this point a total of 3 seasons, and they still look good. They are not falling apart. I haven't had a handle fall off or anything like that. So if you are thinking about growing in grow bags, by all means, I would say get a pack and give it a try. So I took you off the tripod so we could get a little more personal. No, I really just got tired of picking up the tripod. So the last thing that I want to talk about is these grow bags, pots can also do this, will help you extend your season. While it's helping me maximize my growing space, it's also helping me extend my season. So at the beginning of the year, this year and last year, the aphids had gotten to my pepper plants. And I was like, okay, I got to get them outside. Somehow I have to get them outside. So it was before my last frost, or it was very close to my last frost, somewhere along that line. I went ahead and planted them in soil. And when we were getting a day under freezing, so under 32 degrees Fahrenheit, I was able to take them in the house. And I know everyone's not okay with taking bags and potentially bugs inside your house, but mine was in my laundry room. My laundry room is closed off from my actual house. And so it helped me to extend my growing season. So I want to leave you with one last thing to remember. If you are growing in grow bags, you have to remember that your vegetables are only going to get the nutrients that's in those bags. And so whether that looks like topping off with compost every so often, or using a liquid balanced feed, or whatever that looks like for you to fertilize, whether it's organic, non-organic, doesn't really matter to me as long as you are growing. You have to remember that you do have to fertilize when they are in bags, because the first time I grew in containers at all, so they were pots, I was like, why isn't my stuff growing? It was because I wasn't watering it like I was supposed to, and it was because I wasn't fertilizing it like I was supposed to. So those are some of the things I like and a little bit of what I dislike about growing in grow bags. But I am a grow bag enthusiast. Like, I love them. I am pro grow bag. So again, if you are a balcony grower, a yard grower, you don't want to pull up your backyard or your front yard or wherever you're growing at, or if you don't have one, grab a few of these bags. And I'm putting a link down below to these bags. I think they're already down there, but grab some bags. They come like 12 to a pack. I can't remember how much I paid for them because they're a bit more expensive now, but these bags are a good way to go ahead and grow some vegetables. And I am not affiliated with anybody who sells these bags. I just know that I absolutely love growing in them, and so I wanted to share that with you guys. Thanks for watching. I hope everyone has had a good week, and I will see you on Saturday. Bye.